Yeah, I have to use Slack, and every job I ever have is some super excited
Oh no, we're not jumping in the
43-year-old who signs my checks to be like, wow, have you heard of Slack? Wow, it's a great communications tool to get around the office, and wow, we have happy hour on there. I'm like, yes, I've heard. Thank you.
Literally everyone's heard of Slack at this point. Thank you very much. It's the thing that fucking Google Teams and Microsoft Hangout have been trying to be for years.
Yeah, we don't, and it's just so hilarious to watch the corporate world be like try and fail in the same way that like gaming and hobbies is trying to be, and by that I mean like, let's have our own version of the thing. Don't use PlayStation chat, use Xbox gesture connect this thing, and like it's just all constantly assaulting your eyeballs with this new way to do something when AOL perfected it 25 years ago.
Yeah, there's always going to be like a smaller third-party option that's just way better in every regard that people use forever.
Yeah.
Like in audio mixing, like for years and years, it was like there's Reaper and there's GarageBand.
Yep.
Audacity is free and simple. It sure is a shame that it's now a Russian spyware site. I had to get rid of it for that, but...
Oh, I didn't... Yeah, I haven't heard the latest, because
about a year ago, it got bought out by, like, Russian spyware. It was bad.
Oh, that's... Yeah, I know. Audacity was the... Like, I can't... Professionally, I can't stray too far from my main hub of shit, which would be, you know... Adobe first, then like DaVinci and everything. But I always had like one hand on Audacity and stuff like that, but I didn't know anything like that. But yeah, Reaper always comes up. Oh man.
Sorry, keep going. But like I'm gonna let the attract mode play because like this game is just too good to not savor.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, speaking of, yeah, I'm gonna pop out chat here for you. But do you have a stream for me so I can hear?
Yeah, side stream should be up.
Oh, okay. Then let me actually like check more gooder. Yep, I just gotta click the buttons.
Yeah, Mighty Carrick, I have Dark Audacity, which mostly does the job, but like I lost all of my plugins, I lost all of my presets, and I haven't bothered to fucking bring them back yet.
So I don't even need Twitch up right now. I just have Discord. I can hear that lovely music. Can I full screen? Can I full screen inside the stupid window,
so?
But not? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I think.
You know what? I'll just pop it out too. Oh no, that pops out all the stupid other shit too. I don't want to know that I can click on my face. I don't need to see myself. God damn it.
There should be, yeah. Oh, I see what you mean.
Man, I guess it's not. It's not like I need to see all 10 trillion pixels of this game. I'm familiar, but it's just, I mean, it's Banjo. It's Banjo-Kazooie. Okay, I'll just
here,
stretch it out.
double click the Banjo-Kazooie window. It'll turn it into a Zoom call, basically.
That's what I was trying to get rid of all the stupid icons. Like it says Raqus and Elf background at the bottom. Okay, well, cool. Thanks, technology. This is the best you could.
Hey, maybe you can call fucking Discord tech support and see if they have a solution for you.
Yeah. I'll get on there. We'll get the weekly roundtable.
And by Discord tech support, I mean just go be a Karen about it on Twitter, because that's literally the only option.
Yeah, that's what my friend was saying. He's like, oh yeah, he's like this eternally helpful, constantly naive. Like I told him the whole plight of you, and he's like, oh, what the hell did he say? He's like, oh wait, so his OBS crashed? I'm like, I just spent 20 minutes explaining his Discord. He's like, oh well, you got to get a support ticket. I'm like, thanks, buddy. Yeah, that's. So yeah, apparently. That's it. And if you're one of the few, if you're with a lucky 1 in 10 trillion that they're like, you know what, this one, we'll help this one today.
Wait, really quick. We got to highlight. I'm about to delete this save file. Oh, I thought they would like fling him out. There's like a. There was definitely a trick.
Fish.
It's the fish?
You have to when the fish hits the. I believe when you it's when you start. It's not when you delete. It's when you start, and then the fish will hit the thing, and it's like on the third time. I could never do it consistently.
Because there's a different one for every save file.
Yeah, and then there's like a boing bouncy noise on the Game Boy.
Yeah, let's see
or
if
at
I
least
can get
this is
the
what I
fish.
read back in the day.
Yeah, we're gonna see if we can make this work.
Sites. Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Boink.
Nope.
Yeah, see,
I missed it.
That's what happens. I don't know.
At some point, we're gonna make that happen. This is Banjo-Kazooie. This was the 10 sub goal on the sub drive I'm doing right now. Thank you very much for those of you who donated. Feel free to continue doing so. I'm 3 subs away from playing Quest 64. I'm 2 subs away from playing Quest 64.
Wow.
This was the game on the N64 that I just played over and over again. Everybody's got one.
Yeah, So I'm
They Victus!
Thank you, Radar, for that follow.
Thank you for the follow. Oh, hey, Spyro got out. I apologize in advance when I'm an overstimulated crack squirrel. I will because I'll have to get up. I'll constantly be needing to get up and get water, and I got my food in the oven. But not to nostalgia goggle too hard, because I don't like that. I don't like the idea of something being. I want something to be what it is, and not.
I have served.
Oh, thank you, Radar, for that sub.
Oh man, crushing it.
Starting off one more sub, and it's Quest 64 at some point in the coming months.
Please, no one else sub.
I have served.
There we go. Kefka is the one. Quest 64 time.
But speaking of Banjo-Kazooie, like, so I absolutely love Donkey Kong Country, and we're going to, I'm sure, speak on that game as it is Rareware as well and everything. And I love those games. Absolutely, it was just one of the earliest games that.
Oh wow, Radar!
Damn,
thank you.
look at this!
Look at that! Now we're halfway to what's number? Oh, 50 is the Legacy of Kain lore stream.
Okay, there you go, man. You're okay. You now you have shit to do.
Yeah, no, I've got a list.
I want to go on an adventure too. Why is that where she just lives? Can she not fly out of it?
So to summarize the plot really quick, because we will, when Dagron and I hang out, it's tangents galore, and that's fine. That's what we're here for.
Yeah,
but Gruntilda is an ugly witch. She wants to be pretty. She's gonna steal the cute little bear girl and steal all of her cuteness. That's the game.
She was just shocked that she was not the cutest. Like, apparently these 4 people live here.
5 if you count the broom.
Yeah. Everything has sentience.
There will be a sexy witch at some point. If you die, they do throw a sexy witch at you.
You know what? I gotta give it up for post-death Gruntilda. Like, let's just get that out of the way right now. Hello, I am Alpha Wolf Dagron. It is the worst Twitch name I could think of. We can talk about the implications. Like, why are you called that, Alpha Wolf? No, I'm not a furry. Lola Bunny doesn't count. Gruntilda is a person.
All these caveats.
Yeah, I commissioned more art of that engraving that I showed you. Mm-hmm. I have like a full-blown like personality for her now, but totally not, no weird stuff. And I'll take a break right now because you can explain if you're going to do the tutorial or just skip the.
Yeah, no, we got a little tutorial area. The fun part for me is going to be... oh, Radar, thank you for another gift sub. The fun part for me is going to be figuring out how to play this on a fucking Switch controller.
Oh. Yeah, that shouldn't be too... I mean, the Z trigger is basically your your linchpin or whatever the hell.
Yeah, it'll take some adjusting. So
Yeah.
this is Bottles. Bottles is the nerd who knows like how to do everything. But
Yeah, for some reason.
yeah.
He's like, oh, I've been working on this move where you use a bird to do a jump.
Oh,
like,
thank you, Radar. That's so nice design. Yeah, so Bottles is our trainer. He's our Mick from Rocky. He's our guy that's gonna get us to the big fight. Also not brought up in this game, but he has a brother who is just like a complete fascist military guy.
Yeah, no, there's siblings are sequel fare. That's always it.
Yeah,
there's a brother. I bet you didn't know there was another. Well, yeah, this is Rocky 12. Like there's.
All right, so we're gonna start. We're gonna learn the moves
We'd like some help. Okay, yeah.
because this was like as far as I know, this was the first big collectathon type game. This was certainly my first hit of this kind of thing.
I realize I'm in the middle of one tangential thing, and any good thing you're going to say about this game, I'm going to silently agree and then attempt to actively agree, because when I talk about games, when I remember in a conversation, either to myself or with someone, like, yeah, I mean, games back then gave you like more game to play, and it rewarded you with stuff to do before DLC. I'm probably talking about Banjo-Kazooie. Like, to me, this is just like the gold standard of how to deliver a player experience that's rewarding, that makes you want to keep going without like bombarding you with tasks and all these things. And it just, yeah. And collectathon is a term that came out around that time. After the fact.
Okay, so it looks like the right stick is the C buttons. That makes sense.
Oh, okay. Yep.
R is R.
Oh,
like
this was before twin stick technology.
Yeah, this was that weird. The controller designed for 3 hands. R is what you would think it is. That's cool. I am keeping the camera behind my feathery butt. Also, we will pay more attention to the dialogue because the writing in this game is just fucking delightful. It is every like silly animal cartoon, and it's great.
Mechanics are tied to the characters, and that's a good point.
Yeah.
Sidekick.
Yeah,
Jump could do with some help. I know. I'm a mole.
Moles are experts at jumping. But yeah, you may have noticed our jump at the beginning was a little hop. I'm a little bear.
There he goes.
Now we can jump more.
That's
Come on,
when I think bears.
Ooh, a double jump. And honestly, a double jump that makes a little more sense than most because, yeah. See? You've got a bird.
I know, so many of these early games, the pendulum swung either way. With like, oh, let's try and make a logical, I'm not listening. Make a logical reasoning, or just like Jack and Daxter, like, yeah, you just jump again. Like, whatever.
Our super high backflip jump. Super Mario 64 did it. We had to do it too.
Yeah, no, that's chat's mentioning good points here. Like, yeah, like I always knew that, but now that we can retroactively go back, Honeycomb has a voice here.
Yeah, all of the items will have a voice the first time you pick one up. These are our heart pieces. Get 6 of them, get another chunk of health.
But anyway, yeah, it's so easy now. The games nowadays, just the big cinematic, whatever they are. They don't have this. Well, I don't want to just use a phrase, just attention to detail, but yeah, this cartoony game really went out of its way to be in its own personality, right?
Yeah, and like a lot of them, and this comes up a lot when we have these conversations, you and I, but Uncharted, I think, started a lot of these I think Uncharted is perfectly fine, so I don't want to call them problems. Like, it's a perfectly fun Indiana Jones movie that I sometimes push buttons on. But, like, this idea that they're trying to take the game out of the game and make it more, seamless, which I think is, what got rid of a lot of these little beats.
Yeah, because the thing you hear today is like, well, but the story's so good, and like, oh, and again, not to pick on Uncharted, but the example is like, oh, when Nathan Drake runs off and he's exploring, like, oh, they have little quips, the quips gamers, it's so cool, like, that's the immersion.
I mean,
right?
You've been playing Ragnarok lately, and if the first one was any indication, that's all that game is.
Yeah, and I could shit on Ragnarok as a cinematic movie that you sometimes press buttons in, but the point is, and to agree with chat and everything, because I'm being forced to look at it now. That's really interesting. Today's games are, well, the immersion is great voice acting and graphics, right? Whereas we're so fondly remembering Banjo here because, like, you have a bird in a backpack for a reason, and she adds to your moveset, and things we took for granted at the time, we were just like, yeah, fun cartoon game. But the immersion was the enjoyment you got out of the... I don't know, it just feels more interactive, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the character is there. You're doing that move. Hopefully I'm making my point in something resembling an eloquent way, because...
Let's see, Bear is swiping. Kazooie wants to fly.
Roll by running. Stay on the ground.
Yeah, Kazooie is the MPV. She's a bitch and we all love her. Got a little forward roll there.
Okay.
Got these onions. The rat-a-tat rap. This is our big, like, air move.
Also, a pseudo double jump in a pinch.
Yeah. A little bit of an extended.
You can't do both, though, right?
I don't think so, no. And we're going to be getting our first honeycomb over the course of this little tutorial island. Because every one of these little stations we go to is going to get us another piece.
So I believe you can get the, if we care. Maybe we want to get a game over. You can get the one-up now.
Oh, we can do that.
If you skipped the tutorial and just got all the moves outright, you could go on the house, because you'll have the jump.
Oh, yeah. Runaway success with games like Vampire Survivors and Among Us. Yeah, I've been playing a bunch of Vampire Survivors, and they definitely had that kind of... Have you played that game yet, Sean?
No, is it, like, story-driven? Or...
There's a story, like, it's... In the same way that, like Dark Souls has kind of like been trying to make, where you get the story by reading item descriptions and lore logs and shit. Like they have like lots of character beats in like the bestiaries and things that kind of give you an idea of what's going on. The gameplay itself is more it's kind of like a mobile game that just got like beefed up and put on Steam, but it's a lot of fun.
That's what I thought. So I was surprised to hear like, oh no, there's like there's personality and stuff in there. But yeah, I wouldn't know. It looked fun, but I don't need another idle kind of game.
Damn it.
Oh, you're just trying to do it in one.
All right, we're gonna take our time. We're gonna do this right.
Yeah, and Kefka for sure. Like I'm trying and failing to make like generalizations while making the main focus be with Banjo. I don't know. You chat was just pointing out that Banjo. I never sat there and thought about how the mechanics are tied to the characters so much.
Yeah, and I think, like, you know, the more recent example would be Ukulele, right? And they got that part like fucking down, right? Because, you know, all of your moves are an expression of your two different characters and their personalities. Like, Banjo's just this lovable little guy. Like, his attack is this. There it is. I'm gonna remember the buttons. Like, this sucks. Banjo doesn't want to fight. Kazooie will cut you. Like, most of your combat moves are gonna be through her.
That's true. You like never use that move ever.
Kazooie wants to fly. Still.
Root muncher. All these PG insults.
We're gonna climb a tree.
Oh, is that you have to learn that?
Yeah, I guess that wasn't like. Well, you start off with nothing.
Yeah, that's true. I guess. I normally just skip the. Well, normally I fire up Banjo-Kazooie and then I skip the thing, and I get the 6 things, and then I feel like such a boss, dominating the first easy level. Like, yeah, I'm so good at this game, and then by the second or third, I'm like, oh, this is challenging.
The game, I don't remember the game ever getting like super, like, I don't remember any difficulty levels from when we played it, because I think the last time I played it was in your old apartment in LA, and that was a while ago.
That sounds familiar. Also, the other move you'll never use.
Carrying stuff and the internet went up. Oops.
At least it isn't. I authorize you. Yeah, Kefka. That's exactly it. Like, it's just so tied to. There's just a real world implication of it without being like this long drawn out. Well, I don't know what to call it, but I don't know. It just works. It's one of those things. Once again, trying to not rely on nostalgia, but Banjo-Kazooie good because old is good. You learn. It's just logical, I guess. Is a fair shake. Like you like.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's just, you know, you have to find these clearly marked molehills, and that's like, oh cool, that's something to help me progress, and that will give me a new thing, and that's like a new toy to play with, and then the game just unfolds. I don't know, it was just that sense of like continuation that I always loved about the old games. You get the next thing and the next thing, and you always felt like you were completing that. Which is, you know, a different style than, like, the big cinematic story. And they have their place, it's just, it's different. The last one's up the tree. That you learn how to climb, and then it's, like, near... It's either this one or rotate counterclockwise.
This tree.
Yeah.
Not this tree. That tree. There we go. Well, there's our...
And I enjoyed Other M purely from a playing it perspective.
It was a... I remember playing it. It was one of the few games I ever actually got around to playing on the Wii. It was a perfectly fine Metroid, like, in terms of, you know, running around and shooting stuff.
Yeah, like if it was just blocks on a screen with no voice acting or anything, it's like, yeah, cool. You find thing, you go to thing.
This is Gruntilda's lair that we live in the shadow of, and there's nothing wrong. We lived a perfectly normal life until now.
I was just gonna say, like, they just live there. Where does Tootie live? Do they live in that hut together?
I assume so.
Under this mountain carved out in the face of
this Doom Fortress is really the only like apt descriptor.
Yeah.
Like no one ever carves a mountain in the shape of their own face with good intentions.
Yeah, and then someone decided, oh, I'll hole up here. Yeah, you know what?
This is
the
normal.
rent is low.
Yo, that housing market, man, it sucks lately. I don't know if you've looked.
Oh, okay, maybe she's just visiting. I'll be right back.
No worries.
This cutscene. Hang on.
Tootie's all scared. Gruntilda speaks entirely in rhyming couplets.
That's right.
By the way, in case we hadn't highlighted that yet,
It sounds exhausting.
I know. I can only picture the poor fucking. There was an indie game came out a few years ago. I want to say it was called like Song of Light or something like that. Like a little simple RPG thing.
Child of Light.
Child of Light, that might have been it, where the entire thing is written in rhyming couplets and just like, dear God, the poor fucking writer.
Yeah, and you have to make coherent tutorials and everything.
It's like, oh, that sounds awful. All right, so these are your jiggies, your jigsaw pieces. These are your backbone collectible. These are the main. These are your stars to Mario. You know, your fucking. Your things that are going to get you through the game. If this were a free-to-play thing, these would be the currency you have to pay a lot of money for.
Yeah. Wait 36 hours for half of one.
Yeah. Like, oh, God. I hope no one's listening. Nobody make a fucking Banjo-Kazooie free-to-play.
Oh, God. I also love if we're going to compare to Mario 64, because how could you not?
Like, at the time, yeah, I think that was the most direct. This was, like, a very direct follow-up.
Right. And here we are at the painting that you enter, and we have to construct it. Another feather in the cap of, like, putting you, the player, in the driver's seat of your experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and you know, much like the stars, you have to get a prerequisite number to open up the next world. The advantage being that like Mario 64 didn't really have much on top of that. Like it was the stars, and then to a lesser extent, the red coins for the 1 star.
Which ultimately was, you know, like you said, a star.
Yeah, and Banjo-Kazooie has its own version of the red coins, which is a thing, but it's got other stuff as well, which we're gonna start finding more. And yeah, Tooie is also great. I if they ever put that on this, whatever this is that Switch is doing here, I will jump right on it.
Oh, that's not. Oh, I thought it. I'm getting it conflated
there
with the Xbox thing.
Unfortunately. Little purple guy, get him. Alright, so here's your first, like, proper level. Yeah.
I think I would agree with Psychic there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason we bring up Metroid in the same breath. Like, it follows a lot of those similar conventions. Like, learn new moves to access new areas, to explore more. Like, in the hub world, there's a lot of shit that you can only do once you get specific moves. So, like, here's... Go ahead.
I gotta say, as a kid, the hub world being another level was, like, the greatest scientific achievement of my brain could handle. Like, there's level outside of the ukulele and the forgotten the lair of the impossible lair does that amazingly well, by the way.
I still haven't played that one. So these are our red coins, basically. There are 5 Jinjos that have basically been enslaved by the evil witch.
Forced to stand perfectly within an arm's reach of the exit.
These silver skulls are a currency we're going to be using in... Honestly, if there's one thing in this game that I'm worried about, it might be Mumbo. He seems like the kind of thing that has not aged well.
Yeah, I see now.
We got these musical notes. These are, there's 100 in every level. And Sai was bringing this up earlier. These are kind of a pain because whenever you exit the world, they're gonna respawn, and there's no real way to tell which ones you have and have not collected, so you just kind of like gotta get them all.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Switch port faithfully, even though the hardware limitations aren't there anymore, they've faithfully left that intact.
I doubt they did anything more than like get the code working, the end. Like, hey, look, it's stable. Moving on. This is something that, like, and you were talking about Donkey Kong, the Donkey Kong 64. Like, if this is an evolution of Mario, then I would say Donkey Kong 64 is an evolution of this. And they had a little mechanic where they were colored bananas were your notes, but the ones you had gotten before when you went back into the world would be like translucent and grayed out.
You're close. The ones you could not collect for being the wrong
is that what, that's right. Is that I'm misremembering that?
Because this problem was fixed in Banjo-Tooie. The memory or whatever, being able to remember which notes you already got. That is fixed in Banjo-Tooie. Not only that, but you can collect like 25 at a time. There's just like big like treble clefs or whatever.
Yeah.
They're just like, you know what? We know you hate these. Sorry.
We've stumbled upon an angry gorilla up in a tree chucking oranges. He doesn't want us to touch his little boxes.
Oh yeah, did he say? Don't touch Conga's blocks.
Conga touch Conga's blocks. There's gonna be 10 Jiggies in every world.
And don't worry, Psychic Paranoia. I hear you. I acknowledge you.
That was another one. That was a game that, like, I had, and I beat it, and I 100%ed it, because that is the tacit end goal of these games, is, like, get all the things. That's why we're here. And I don't remember having problems with Donkey Kong 64, but then later it's got this reputation.
Well, when was you played it the one time?
Yeah, I played it front to back when I was in, junior high.
I love the Donkey Kong trilogy, Donkey Kong Country trilogy. I love the shit out of 64 because obviously I'm gonna get thing that is thing but 64ified. Just like Star Fox and all of, we've all experienced Nintendo 64. But I played it recently and good lord, yeah, it's just... If Banjo is a personality-filled, lovely, character-driven, environment-filled, musical, lovely romp, Donkey Kong 64 is a grocery list. And I don't mean that like there's a lot of things, because there are. Someone counted there's like 3,000 collectibles or something. But it's literally the gameplay. Sorry to interrupt you, but the gameplay is just like go to place, do thing, or like go to place, warp to avoid where task is and do it, and it's just sadly lacking the personality.
Yeah, I remember there was they had this interesting idea where, really quick, we're gonna learn new move. Molehill means new move. The Talon Trot. I think out of every move in the game, this is the one we're going to use, like, the most.
Yes.
This is...
Required.
100%. This is your faster get around move. Every game needs one.
Also, just so cool, like, again, we've harped on this, but, like, it's tied to the characters. And I like how it loads backwards, if you know what I mean? Like, the opposite the way you're facing, because she comes out of the backpack and it just sort of naturally... The little animation of her coming out of the backpack is just so wonderful.
In addition to being faster, Kazooie she is footed like a mountain goat, this girl. If we were to let go, Banjo can't handle these slopes.
Even though he is a bear.
Theoretically. Well, Kazooie can fly. She just has a natural disdain for ground in general. And right now, not being able to fly, she has to express that somehow.
It's true. This move, I always... I mean, you know that it does the steep hill thing. But I always just filed it away as the fast get-around move. You forget this is a 2-for-1.
Yeah. No, this is... If you're not using this move, then you're probably in the middle of like some really tricky jumps. Like that's really the only time not to, because it's a bit of an imprecise tool. You can't really do those little pinpoint landings.
Yeah, they programmed in some slidey momentum or something.
Eggs.
Oh, and then speaking of... Oh, wait, we gotta listen to the... This is important. You gotta get an audio imprint of everything that speaks. But why? But why, you like... No. Speaking of steep... I was gonna say you should go into the anthill there.
Yeah.
And if you're anything like me, you'd be like, but I can climb on steep thing. What wrong? I think you passed it.
Go around again. Ah, my eyes getting all watery for some reason. That's weird.
Oh, do you have eye problems?
I might have an eye problem, yeah. I might have to hop out for a second and go put in some drops. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, so they give you this steep hills move.
But oops.
And then immediately they're like, no.
You need even more steeper hiller. Oops.
I spent like 30 minutes being like, why? My game is broken.
Nintendo, I demand satisfaction. So we're gonna need something to fix that. Let's just take us a little look around because it's been a long time since Raqus has played this game. Ah, there we are.
Yeah, I know this level very well because as a young child, I was all proud of myself for being able to do the Herculean task of any level, getting 100 notes, which was touched on earlier. Like, you have to get all 100 notes. Otherwise, your little child brain will just be like, how do I find everything? So I was like,
having to do them all in a single run. Level. Yeah, like, if you don't get them all in a single run, it just feels like, well, I wasted time.
Yep. So yeah, I'd always be like, yes, this is gonna be the best Banjo-Kazooie run ever! And then I would crush this level, and then by the second level, I was like, ooh, okay.
I had, a subscription to Nintendo Power back in the day. And there was the Beak Buster. Jump into the air and press Z to send Kazooie slamming hard down to the floor.
Both. Nest girl. What is that? Just imagine the writers having a list of
like we want to call them a fuckface, but this is for kids. So how do we boom. Destroy this small town. We are the ecological disaster. But yeah, Nintendo Power had this thing for like a year where they would do like speedrun challenges before speedrunning was like a thing, or at least before it is what it is today.
Okay.
And they would have the idea was you had to go through and 100% every month would be, you know, successively the next level, and then take a picture of the stat screen, like take a Polaroid of your television set and
Amazing.
mail that in an envelope with a stamp.
Amazing.
Just
I love it. I love everything about that story.
I sent in a couple of them for like the first few levels. Meanwhile, Rare is sitting here hiding 101st node just on the edge of vision.
Did they do that?
I don't know if they did. Donkey Kong kind of did that. There's that story about the rainbow coin that like exists outside of the game just because they tucked it into like under a fucking the floor.
Kind of remember that, yeah.
Also, welcome, Shonen.
Banjo-Tooie also eliminating that adorable but repetitive animation every time you get it.
Also, we're probably not going to get to it today, but there is a thing, speaking of Rare being dicks in this game. Obviously, this is not, you know, neither of us are concerned about spoilers, but do not bring up the thing. It will be there. We will deal with it when the time comes. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine.
Basically ruined my life.
The whole, yes.
I'm addicted to meth now.
Yep. All my teeth fell out. I got pregnant in high school somehow. Like, just everything is awful. And there will be no joy in the world ever again. Thank you, Rare.
Worst game comes.
Just terrible. Awful. Fucking 0 out of 10.
I love these Jinjos. I didn't get to say it earlier. I'm just picturing like, oh, we need a tenth Jiggy to get. What about little like weird upright anteaters? Yeah, sure.
What about
Toss
like,
those in there.
Sorry, we lost you. Oh, good. You'll be able to experience the frustration anew. It's great.
Yeah.
Again, probably won't happen today, but okay. So here is Look, it was the 90s. All right, I can make no excuses. Find the tokens, and he'll help us out.
Enough tokens.
We need 2 more tokens and 6 more notes, which I'm sure have to be in the fucking.
Is there anything in the rafters? Some of his huts have. There's a missing. Okay, it's just.
Thanks.
Well, you know what? I don't let me speak too soon. So yeah, sometimes there's a a flameless torch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one of the levels has like a honeycomb in there.
Pinpoint jumping. There we go. For some reason, the backflip is always the most accurate jumping in these kinds of games. I can't explain why.
It is, isn't it?
Like, I recently played through Mario. Do you remember a couple of years ago, Nintendo put out like a physical copy of, like, we're gonna put Mario 64 and Sunshine and Galaxy 1, but not 2, go fuck yourself, onto a cartridge, and we're only gonna sell it for like 2 months.
Yes, I forgot all about that.
I got that because, like, I wanted to play those games, and I am still, and I'm sure we'll get into this rant at some point, but I am still, like, give me my physical media. I don't trust the internet pixies that tell me it lives in a cloud somewhere. So I got that, and I replayed through those recently, and the fucking backflip is the only way I can get through some of those later levels.
I believe it.
Like, getting up the clock, I can't just jump through that thing. Like, a normal jump with legs, like, that's not a thing. I need to, like, you know, fucking turn around and do a somersault, and somehow that's better.
God, and the clock also is just like the difficulty spike there is like so mean.
I know. There's one level in this game that I think hits that point, but that might be like my, childhood, collegehood memories, like talking to me. I don't know if it's as bad as I remember.
It's rough, but it's not as bad. He's a Muppet made by a racist 9-year-old.
He kind of is, though. He's very Muppety. And yeah,
nice.
someone brought up earlier, it might have been Psy, it might have been T-Sod, I can't remember. There is a character in 2 that is somehow worse. She serves exactly the same function as Mumbo.
I forget. I mean, I might have just filed them away as the same.
She is very much a, she would be sold in a Spirit Halloween store as Native American princess. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, yeah. Okay, wait. The other Mumbo
Missing a
token.
token.
I might know where it is.
I'm trying to think. I got the one under the steps. I got the one in the water.
Yeah, and you got the one in the anthill. Developers patting themselves on the back token. That's supposed to be your hint, right? That you need.
Yeah, like
Mumbo.
whatever's going on in here, you need to use these little silver skull dudes. I got this one. Oh, another thing I appreciate, it's just like we can highlight it here. The termite that I killed is still fucking dead.
But they couldn't get the notes.
Yeah.
They couldn't.
Well, I think it's a matter of like once you leave the level, it has to unload entirely from the RAM and then has to reset at default. So like that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I have to take it back because the enemies will come back when you reload the level, so why not?
Yeah. Well, let's get Chimpy. We didn't actually steal the orange and give it to Chimpy. Hey, Conga, go fuck yourself. I got your orange.
You have one orange.
And then infinite that you can throw. That was my eaten orange. These are my throwing oranges.
These are Tangellos, okay?
Yeah, no, this level is pretty solid. Like as far as like an ease yourself into it, like this is pretty great. Ah, here we go. Okay, I was wondering. I knew there was another molehill.
Yeah, it does feel really satisfying to start this game up and play this first level.
The ancient ways of the egg.
Beetle breath. Gotta write all these down.
Alright, so hold Z and press the top C button. I'm not gonna lie, this is a little hard. This is a little weird. I don't like doing this with a stick.
That just this second occurred to me. Yeah, press C up. Like, oh wait.
Push right.
Because earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say earlier, like, well, the camera is just the stick, like it's the C button. So I'm like, oh yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, well, a camera, it's fine because you're doing those like smooth analog 8-direction sweeps. But for like stuff like this, that's more just like a binary, like button is pushed, button is unpushed. It feels weird. Give us a bunch of eggs. Also, if you hold the button, you can skip through it. But also, their little squeaks get faster and more high pitched. Oh man, I had a job a little while ago, like right before Christmas, that, well, it was so sad because, like, everything I want to complain about it, and there was a lot to complain about, because the client didn't know anything about fucking how events work, but they were a church group that did charity work for disabled and homeless youth. So it's like you're all bad at oh really quick, there's a grunty switch in every level Sai was just talking about. These are like the one static thing because they affect the outside world. So yeah, they just didn't understand. Welcome, Poison Dog. Thank you for raid. Collect all them weird little guys. Greetings. For the raiders, we are playing Banjo-Kazooie. It's part of my sub drive. This was the 10 sub goals. There are many goals to go if you're interested in contributing. I just got hit by an orange. We are 5 away from me having to do my conspiracy Pepe Sylvia board about the legacy of Kane lore, because I like those games and I can talk about them a lot. This is just not how eggs work. Kazooie is just doing bad with eggs. She is... I have heard that sound effect so many times that Conga just made. That that is like second to the Wilhelm scream as far as like stock nonsense. But yeah, so I did this job, and like the stage manager, we had a rehearsal, they didn't have anybody available. Like no one was there for the rehearsal, so it wasn't really a rehearsal. It was the stage manager standing on a microphone going, okay, and then this is what would happen if people were here. Like that does me no good. I'm running the sound. I need a band. I need a chorus. I need to like tune things. Yeah, close your eyes and picture the show. But fucking, so we get into the show and we're in the show. The show is running. The lights are down. The performers are on stage. The audience is in the seats. I am currently working on a soundboard. And she messages me over
Victus!
Oh, Malcontentious, thank you for that follow. She calls me over the headcom and is like, okay, so this next song is going to be a sign language performance. I'm like, cool, yep, that's what it says. She goes, it needs to be slower because she can't sign with it at full speed. So
Victus!
Shuna, thank you for that follow. She can't sign along with it at full speed, so you can make it play at half speed. I'm like, you're telling me this 30 seconds before the song starts? Why? Shoot eggs in mouth. Totem pole hungry. So it's like, okay, I'll do what I can. I'll fucking, like, try and get that cue rebuilt in the next 30 seconds. And I pulled it off, I made it, it was close. But the problem being that she didn't seem to understand that when you slow down sound, it doesn't... Me talking at half speed does not do the same thing as taking a actual full speed recording and slowing it down. So yeah, she's so mad at me. Oh yeah, we gotta get it down to the last one. There we go. Yeah, she got so mad at me. I'm like, well, what did you expect? Like, that's just... What do you want from me? Make it sound exactly the way it sounds in my head button. Like, and it was like, the group was doing very good work. Like, they were doing a good thing. And I feel bad complaining about them because we're just so, they're not events people. They don't know how to make these things happen. It's one of those things where, like, you see the joke where it's like, okay, if I do the job, it's $100. If the client wants to watch me to do the job, it's $200. If the client wants to help, it's $500. So, Mumbo Jumbo, our problematic fave, he turns us into things. It's a good button. I don't know why people... So not every level is going to have one of these, but the ones that do will definitely make a fucking event out of it. And the termite here is our first... That's his first spell, like, we're your guinea pigs. Thanks, bud.
Victus!
Thank you, Captain Lieutenant Dan, for that follow. I think the transformations are more consistent in 2E. I don't remember 2E like as well as this game. I only played it like once. Yeah. Yeah, well, Humbawamba did the transformations. I do remember that much. That's... And Mumbo did other things. Yeah. This is one of those areas where the camera is not on... Like, I don't have control of the camera, so... More ambitious but messier. Yeah, I think. There was a race in 2E that I was 99% on that game for years. Because there was a race, you were in Cloud Cuckoo Land, and there was a bird. Yes. And it was literally just one of those, like, tap the button as fast as you can type races. And it took me years to get it, and it was a nightmare. So at disadvantage, we don't have an attack. There's all the notes. I am 10 times your size. Well done. They're in Canary Mary. Yeah, that was her name. Ow. I'm just struggling with this old camera. This is literally the last thing we got to do in this level, so it will be done. God damn it. Kazooie is directing. 2E is sprawl. Yeah, no. Kazooie, 2E definitely, like, 2E had fucking mini games and a multiplayer mode and just like so many boss fights. Yeah. And, okay, there we go. We've done it. Now don't fall off the goddamn, like, the worst fate that can befall you in an N64 collectathon. Falling off a tall thing. Oh, yes, but not until we... Oh, yeah, I guess I did that in the... well, that'll be a surprise for the next level. So... No, I think this is 10, yeah. So there is a special animation when you get the last Jiggy, but only if you are in Banjo and Kazooie form. Transformations do not have them. Anyway, whee! I am a small bug. They just did not program oxygen for the termite transformation. Yeah, there's a second honeycomb piece in the level, and frankly, I don't remember where it is. Maybe. But this is a good time to pull out this. Every game ever do this. Just do this. Give me just a simple checklist of what is and is not. Honestly, and I know you and I, Dagron, have had like back and forths about trophies and achievements and whether they're worth it and whether they're not. One of the things that I really liked about them is because games stopped doing this, and your trophy list kind of stood in as a de facto that. I think it's that thing Ubisoft has been trying to make, like, every game into for years. Like, they did Assassin's Creed... oh, I think I remember. Yeah, it's like, down here. Yeah, there we are. But, like, ever since Assassin's Creed, like, they've been trying to make it like it's an open world and it's got collectibles and it's got crafting and it's got fucking screen tearing. Yeah, broadest appeal. In which, like, every now and it took me like over a decade to get through fucking Assassin's Creed, just because, like, I'd play one, and aside from the first one had, like, a pretty, you know, unique stance. But after that, it was just like, do I want to do that same game again? It was fine. I hear Black Flag is really good. Yeah, so that was Bottles giving the in-game justification for why the RAM can't remember notes. Also, you can have a limited amount of time as a transformation outside of a world. Termite shorts. But if you get too far... Oops, the magic wears off. Oh, you get a little warning, that's right. Oops, the magic wears off. Freedom, but also control, but maybe in the middle? Like, yeah.